Story of a woman who dared to raise her voice against child marriage, gang rape for standing up to the exploitation of children in the name of tradition. She risked her life despite threats and the social boycott. Not once was she ashamed of rape. Not once did she flinch. But 20 years later, this feisty young woman has become resigned and bitter because she's slowly losing hope of ever getting any justice. This is the story of Bhavri Devi's 20-year-long victimization after her gang rape in 1992. This is the story of a country where politicians are not bothered about the safety of their women citizens or upholding their rights. Bhavri's case is pending in the Rajasthan High Court since 1996 and has not even come up for hearing in the last 17 years.
लागत अब भाई कद भी कर सके कड़को तो या सरकारी फिर बनो मैं का ना जगह काम करियो छो महिला बाल विकास को काम करियो छो कलेक्टर साहब को आदेश सो माखने जजारवा की पालना करी भाई छोटी बच्ची की शादी में समझाई तो गया जान जी मैं अतरी बड़ी सजा दे दी फिर माने साथ कौन दियो कोई नाजायज काम कर रहा था मैं नाजायज काम कर रहा था सरकार को आदेश सो मैं वहां की पालना कर रहा था पालना को अधिकार क्यों कर रही है कानून बना दिए देश को तो कानून मां की तत्काल तो सुनवाई आनी चाहिए लागत अब भाई कद भी कर सके कड़को तो या सरकारी फिर बनो मैं का ना जगह काम करियो छो महिला बाल विकास को काम करियो छो कलेक्टर साहब को आदेश सो माखने जजारवा की पालना करी भाई छोटी बच्ची की शादी में समझाई तो गया जान जी मैं अतरी बड़ी सजा दी फिर माने साथ कौन दियो कोई नाजायज काम कर रहा था मैं नाजायज काम कर रहा था सरकार को आदेश सो मैं वहां की पालना कर रहा था पालना को अधिकार क्यों कर रही है कानून बना दिए देश को तो कानून मां की तत्काल तो सुनवाई आनी चाहिए.
It won't be incorrect to say that the worst sort of injustice has been meted out to this grassroots worker. Her rapists were let off by the lower court and she was victimized even further. Yet, Bhavri Devi stood up to the ostracism by her community as well as her own family. Justice has mocked Bhavri Devi more than once. In November 1995, the lower court hearing the case observed that an upper caste man couldn't have raped her since she is a Dalit. The other reasoning given was that an uncle could not have been a part of the crime in his nephew's presence. So, Bhavri Devi was accused of having fabricated the entire episode.
एक तो इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर इन द फॉर्म ऑफ देखिए आप जो सुविधाएं जो चाहिए होती है वो नहीं होती है जो जितने जजेस होना चाहिए उतना नहीं होती है और कई कारण होते हैं तो ये जो है हम देख लेंगे क्या कहाँ पे है कहाँ कमियां कहाँ खामियां हैं वो हम उसको ठीक करने की कोशिश करेंगे जितना जल्द हो.
Bhavri Devi, remember, was gang raped after she dared to report the case of a 9-month-old's child marriage. The Anganwadi workers' case prompted women's groups to file a PIL under the collective platform of Vishakha. The petition against the state of Rajasthan and the Union of India resulted in the landmark Vishakha guidelines, providing the basic definitions of sexual harassment at the workplace and provided guidelines to deal with it. Despite a nationwide uproar following the gang rape in Delhi, Bhavri Devi's case has only been sidelined over the years.
1996 में राजस्थान हाई कोर्ट में लगी और ऑर्डर किया गया सब पार्टियों को. 16.5 साल निकल गए हैं, आज दिन तक वो मैटर लिस्ट ही नहीं हुआ है. तो 20 साल में भवरी देवी को न्याय नहीं मिला है. ये कोर्ट कचहरियां दरअसल न्याय देना ही नहीं चाहती.
The gang rape victim in Delhi has become the rallying point for activists seeking to reform the system, but there are hundreds of brave hearts India has simply, unfortunately, forgotten. Headline today is committed to making their voices heard. The 1992 Bhavri Devi case is just the first of many such cases that we will continue to focus on. All right, my colleague Dev now joins us for more on this story from Jaipur. Dev, why has it taken for this case to, why has it taken this case so long to even come up for hearing?
Well, Padmaja, the phrase "justice delayed is justice denied" seems apt for the case of Bhavri Devi. The long pending cases, in fact, the cases that are being heard in the Rajasthan High Court right now pertain to the 1980s. So clearly it might just take 10 more years for the Bhavri Devi case to even come up for hearing in the Rajasthan High Court. Clearly, the lady has been ostracized for more than a decade now. For more than 16 and a half years, the case has not even come up for hearing once in Rajasthan High Court. The so-called upper caste people in the village have been ostracizing her. She has been treated as a discard in the entire village. And there are several such cases. In fact, in this particular case, out of the 5 accused, 2 are already dead. 3 are right now roaming free. And there are hundreds of such cases, as you mentioned, like Bhavri Devi, where either because of the medical evidence not being collected in time, the circumstantial evidence not being collected in time, the woman herself, the victim herself being treated as an accused. Because of all these reasons, several of these cases have been pending over a huge number of years.
But like you mentioned, two of the accused in this case themselves are dead. Bhavri Devi also quite old now. She has aged. She doesn't have the support of her family. Now, after all this outrage, is there any assurance whatsoever from the judiciary that maybe her case will now be fast-tracked once the demand has been made for sexual assault cases across the country?
Well, Padmaja, at the point in time when this gang rape had taken place in 1992, there was a huge uproar. There were several social women organizations that had come forward. In fact, the Supreme Court had formulated the Vishakha guidelines in the aftermath of the Bhavri Devi case. But even today in Rajasthan, given the long impendency of the cases, there seems to be little in terms of any kind of relief, any kind of justice being meted out to this woman. Even today, several women from the social organizations, from women organizations, are in a meeting, even as I speak, with the Chief Minister to expedite the cases, to look into the cases. But I would like to point out here that how far the formation of fast-track courts can take these cases if at the higher level, if at the level of high courts or the Supreme Court, there is such a huge amount of delay in pursuing the cases further.
Well, a delay has already been made, but at least now there is time for some damage control, especially at a time when everyone is demanding fast-tracking of cases across the country. Devanko, thank you for joining us on that story.